Gibuhat ba ninyo 'tong example gahapon? Uy, i-screen share ko na 'to imuha, Ed. Ed, i-screen share ko na yung mga tanaw na 'to. Yes. Tanaw na 'to kung unsay problema sa imuhang gahapon aron basin mo kung may problema sa uban, we will resolve it. Katong ning nakita mo ang kuan kining otro ra gud na imong sharing, share whole screen ka kay aron makita na ubang window kay murag share window ra ka. Sige daw, send. Members mo na. Reconnection was refused. HTTPS mo gud ka? Connection was refused. Nagdagan ang server lagi? Oo, localhost 8,000. Abli ka browser ba? Pag abli ka localhost 8,000, magawas ba itong imuhang kuan? Ha? Wala kang gidagan. Sabi kung back-end nimo nga mag-PHP artisan serve ka. Ana, wa man gud na magdagan
Sir,
ilan mo balik.
ano man yun?
Oh, kana. Balik dito sa imong testing. Dali, ato na sa kuan. Ana, yes, and connection refused yapon.
Sir,
Oh,
ako sir, tungkol tayo sir, kanang,
unya na napatay ka resolve.
katong imong ha?
Napangari tayo resolve mo sa po nakakita.
Ay, sorry.
Nga, biyaan na lang ako kalit kaya
May
ito.
bad dash tayo. Sige, dyan na lang sir.
Sugot kahit, biyaan lang ako kalit kaya akong entertainer si Alvin.
Sige sir, sige. Dyan na lang.
Kining connection was forcibly closed by a peer. Balik ko nag-try sa dito sa browser ug magawas ba yung mga kwan. Ana. Muna po. Yeah. Dili gapon. Sige. Balik atong imong server be. Lain nga port gamita. Di ayo diha. Ayo na. Atong back-end nimo. Ana. Ala naundang lagi siya na? Nawa. Oh, naay problema na imong computer siguro. Sige. Ikuan ko no, PHP artisan serve unya sumpaye og dash port upat ka 9. Di butang space. Murag just now eh. Okay. Oh, sige. Abliha ko na sa browser ng kuan na. Unknown online 0. Huh? Ay. Na may problema imong kuan? Murag na problema imong installation sa Laravel na. Oo. Or mag-reinstall agud Laravel na. Pero ang daan man eh. Asa mo gahapon di eh. Katong niagi suway og laing kuan. Kat kana ba lain nga port. Kaya di ba ning gawas naman siya nga lain nga port gamit. So, itong gahapon nga mo gihapon instead nga mag-run ka og regular nga port. So, laing port. Sige, release na na. Unsa itong mga Alvin?
Katong imong gigama katong pag-last ba sir, kay kuanto sir kanang ma-change sa kanang sa browser katay katong name i-change nimo pero sa atong katong PHP may admin bisa sir katong localhost sa dito ma-change dito sir sa database sir.
Ma-change yun?
Editor.
Dapat. Pero nga nung
Ma-change
mag-change
yung mga sir.
diba, nga nung ma-change nga wala man tay edit ato ha. Sa akong example last time, it was register o login.
Oh.
Na ma-add. Pero dili mag-change. Wala man tay para change.
Wala di ma-change sir. Na-late bitaw ko gasod sir.
Aw nalit kag sod. Aw sa pasabot nimo di.
Ay katong pag last pa ba?
Bangkong nimo. Nag-post kog video lain ang mga itong lesson.
Di kayo na may buhat nun mga 2 days na lang 1 day na atong i-submit nun ba?
Kato di ay.
Oo, kato.
Oo, na to change no? Na to
Change. Pero di ma-change man sa ako no. sa katong localhost. Dito ma-change sir no, dito ra sa website.
Ma-change good. Dahil na hapon og sa website ma-change niya sa niya kauman di mo resulta dito sa
Mag-add ra man gud ka Vin.
ala nasuko ang siren no.
Ah, oh good.
Gather re. Na wa number to edit na to?
Wala oy, wa, save changes ra to.
Oh,
At
save changes ra sir.
Ay, sa mo tangi mo pa ko.
lagi. Insert pa man tingali to no? Wala update.
Wala.
Sige. I will continue on. Sa last na kong example, it was the backend para sa login authentication system, no? Ning tanaw mo ato nga video? O si Edra?
Gitan
Wala
out.
tiwasa sir.
Ano man tiwasa? Nga 28 minutos raman to. Mo naman to yung klase na to gahapon.
Gipahinlo ko diri sa mga sir kini mo uli ay.
Kisay mo ulit eh. May interview man ron.
Ante na sir muli.
Okay, so let's get back to business. I have here new Next app, and I also have here a running backend. So we can try muna yung katong akong gihimo last time. And so we can try and run it here. Let's have a new collection. First, let's do testing on register. Saan to? Ay. Team negative. Natay. Mag-utro sa ta sa ato ang mga session sa kuan ha. Ay katuning tingog ganiha ni ako atong alarm sa akong calendar. So mag-utro ta sa ato ang scheduling sa kuan. Session sa by group nga o by team sa capstone. Anyway, do http / by the way, if you want to record, you can record. So localhost. Klaro na. Klaro na. :8000/API/register. And we'll have our body to be, here's name, say Lentrix, and email. A very powerful password. Send it up. And yan, error. Saan pa error na to ni? Mayhog, ang akong nakopya ka to ni wa mo human. As na niron. What's the error? Okay, get method is not supported. Post ng good. Send. All right, registration success. And if we try and open up our database, so auth demo users. Okay, there you go, Lentrix, so command Lentrix. Password. Also, you can try and log in. Let's do login. For the login, again, it's a post request. http://localhost:8000/API/login. This one is our accept, and the body will have email, and password. Send it up. Then we have an access token, which you can use to or user information. This is for the user, and it's a get request. User, and we are going to send an authentication using a bearer token. Kanang token na itong nakuha ganyan pag login, and we have our information. Okay, so it works right now, and now we can translate those into our next app. The first thing you need to do is to install Next Auth. Okay, you can search for it in the browser. You can say Next Auth, like so, and this is the one. Kinesia. Specifically, we'll be using the local version, local, sa tawagan nila scheme. Okay, so there are OAuth nga scheme, napoy local nga scheme, napoy refresh nga scheme. Refresh nga scheme is just added something on top of the local. Local na si refresh nga naay kanang naay functionality to refresh the token. And then on the other hand, you can also use other providers like can do Auth0, no, Discord, Facebook kung gusto kag log in using Facebook, GitHub, Google. And for Laravel, you can also do JWT, but we'll not be using JWT in this case. We'll just be using local and Passport and Sanctum. We will be using local for this, just to keep these things simple as possible. So we're gonna install. So if we click on setup here on the guide, this is what you need to do to install the Next Auth. No, it will also require the Axios. Since I already have Axios, let me see. Yeah, I already have Axios here in my package JSON. Here we have Next.js Axios. Ano na ko Axios? So it means I don't have to install this part. At kung wala pa mo, kung nag-create mo sa inyong Next niya, ano pala Axios, mo na install po na sa inyo. So, go back here and execute this command. npm install -- save -- exact at next.js/auth -next. And then while it installs, we can now do modifications into our config.js by adding into the modules auth next. No? And also, aside from that, there are some ways on doing this. So we go back to local. So first is we go to next config.js, and in the modules, we're going to add next at next.js. Okay, add na sa modules. Also, we'll be adding another item here, which is makita po na there is a local. To use it, we're gonna need this option, the auth option. Okay. So let's take a look at this one by one. We'll be using the local strategy. So here we're gonna add auth like that, and then here our strategy Strategies. Okay, under strategies, we'll add local. So, pwede ka sa imong knockout, pwede ka magamit og multiple strategies so that pwede ka mo daot og login using your database. Pwede po ka mo daot og login using Facebook and others. Ano ka nindot ano niya. But in our example, we'll just be using local. So one of the strategies we are going to do here is like that, local. So nakailain like nakay OAuth, na po kada magbutang og strategy nga OAuth. Okay, but we'll be using local. So what we need is token ba? Kini mo sakto token based tong gamiton. So local token, and then this property mo ni magsultig unsay ngan sa property sa imong JSON respond nga mo'y nagdala sa token. In our case, it's not just token, it's access token man. Did you remember? In our login, see, this is the property that we are talking about here. Okay? So muna siya. So inside of our local strategy, we're going to define our token properties, our token configurations. So you go back here, we say token, and under token there is properties, a property, and that property is, in our case, is access underscore token. Okay. Then also global could be true or bearer. In our case, we're using bearer type. Global is true, and I will be using type bearer. So say global true, and our type is bearer. Okay. And then for our user, when we receive the login, we did not send any user as part of the response. So we are not going to not configure this one. However, we are going to configure some endpoints. Okay. By the way, no. Actually, when we get the user from our backend, remember this? When we send this, wala siya property. Dito siya as in ang object mismo mo yang gihatag. Wala ba siya gisulod og kanang na ay property nga user niya, ang sud sa user kani siya dili. In this case, siya ra gyud mismo. So we can have here in our user, just to be sure, we can also do user here, and then property is false, or user property is false. But we'll see. We'll see what will happen later. This is live, so again, so under endpoints, we're going to define these things later on. But for now, anhi sa takotob. Anyway, dili pa man ta mag-login good today. To tell you, after you install, you need to configure also your next config. But really, for today, we're just going to scaffold our pages. The first page, of course, if you look at our pages here, this is just a blank new Next.js application. So if we try and run this PHP on npm run dev, okay, and if we open up our browser, nag-build pa din. Okay. So, nindot bago na lang siya kuan kanang na ay bago na siya kanang na ay landing page. Di ba? Di man nga ni sa una?
Oo, nga na. Kasi,
So, bago na po ni last time install ko dili pa ni nga ni. But yeah, this is just a plain blank Next.js application. Now, what we have here is the pages. That's the one that we saw tutorial may nakabutang ani. So yung component na ni tutorial. Yeah, here we go, and the next logo. Probably inside of the tutorial gitawag pod ang next logo. Wala lagi. And static store pages. Bago na po siya kuan day. Kanang na ay structure. Wala naman po layout. Nawala ang layout, di ba? So, meaning, kung kuhaon na to ng tutorial dire, wala na dayon, blanco na dayon dire. Now, first thing, we're gonna add a login page. So we create a new file inside of pages. We have login.view inside of here. Of course, we put template and script. So we'll build up our login. Also, may magod na natong layout ba? Ano may layout ha? Delete na to na yung mga di na to gamiton. So first thing we need to add is the navbar. So we'll create a component called navbar. And inside of here, we're gonna create a navbar. And to keep it simpler, we just go to Bootstrap view and go to components and look for the navbar. Aron din ito maghago og retype niya o sa pod. Mapo ka memorize sa code. So we'll have this guy, yan eh. Kanila eh. So inside we have template, and then inside here, naman to sa div daan. So yan. Have a navbar. I'll call this auth demo. And navbar text naman yung sulod niya. Navbar brand, auth demo. So we'll remove this text. We'll replace it with some links. Itong mag-collapse kini. We'll have this mag-collapse yung sulod niya kay na ito ka book link. Okay. Put it there. We'll have here dashboard, log in, and log out. Of course, delete na to disable. And ito na ibot lang ito sa ito ang login. So here, we're gonna add we're gonna put the nav bar component. And let's take a look at our output. Oh, lagi. Hey, wag mo to sa login pa. Slash. There you go. Dashboard, login, logout. Ito ni butang sa tuo, be. So, butang na sa tuo. Kani man to, di ba? Float class. No. Yeah, class. Margin left. Ano? Yan. And of course, dapat ang makita ni karon dapat di si by loon na to na si log out of yan kaya ang dapat makita pagkakaroon kini si login, si log out o si dashboard unya na ni makita og naka-login na kini na pod mo mawa. But we'll do that later on, wala pa mo ta mag-implement og kanang na login gyud. But we'll start scaffolding again the pages here. So let's also create the one login form here sa sulod. We'll go back to the navbar later on. Kaya katong mga links na navbar o patusulod. Butangan na nagpunto na to daan si login kay kasi ingo naman kami yung slash login. And pwede na po na ito ibutang dali daan si navbar sa index. Karon inig sugod nimo og able kung naka sa root na kay navbar daan. And you can click on the login to go to the login page. Which of course atong butangan og login form diri sa ubos. We'll have here a container. And then inside of a container, we'll have a row and then a column. 4 columns. Yeah, i-offset po na to og 4. Kaya rin magpatunga siya. And then here we are going to add a card. Namo gudon tay component nga card. So, yun ra. Card. So it's just B card. Unja, ug na ay headers and footers. So B card. Saan mag-header ni? Nga na di ay. Header tag. So it's just B card. We'll have header, user login, and then inside we'll put our form. Inside the form, pure bootstraps lang ko. Refer, madugay ko sa mod noon. We'll just have that form group, and here we'll have label for user, actually email, and input type email with class of form control. Yan. And then we'll just copy this for our password. So this will be password. And by the way, magtugma ng type of for og kanang input, we'll add an ID nga email here, and also we'll add an ID nga password here. Okay, kung mo click ka sa label, boom, siya mo kanang na ay so na ma-graban ng attention or ma-focus. And finally, we'll add another form group sa sulod, which is the button to say login to the class of btn dash primary. So there's our login page. Butang na to siya una oy kanang na ay margin top niya 3. And there we go. Also another one you can to scaffold will be another page, which is the register. So under pages, create a new file called register.view. Right? Again, we're gonna add here the nav bar. Oh, pasabot dito nga nung nawa tong kanang na ay layout. Mo to toy kanang na ay makaingon niya din ito magbalik-balik og butang sa mga visual components nga balik-balik. Kung na layout pero giwagtang mo nila for some reason. So under nav bar here, we're gonna do the register form. Kato na lang login form atong kopyahon. Aron punan na lang gamay. Instead niya, ang header ani, sarong tong header. User login. This is user registration. Nya natay dugang ani usa lang. The name. The name. And this should be name. Yeah. Name type is text. So let's try opening up our register. There you go. Dapat na tayo register nga link sa to ang navbar. So we have login here and register here. Okay? Isa pa. Kanara niya dapat kining dashboard og logout mo more mo gawas kung naka-login na ka. Pero kung wala ka naka-login kining register og login mo gawas. Diri sa ato ang navbar. And that's easy to achieve using NuxtAuth. It's actually the package NuxtAuth nga gi-install na to earlier has a lot of things nga kanang features nga mo'y makaingon nga daghan na ka og dili na kinahanglan buhaton kay nana sa NuxtAuth package da na cover na ba. All you have to do is the configuration na lang. Okay, so let's close this one out. And so sunod sa may button na to ni, we'll now implement unahon to implement ang register. Okay, so we'll do the register. All we have to do is send up the user. By the way, let's go back here, and this should be name, this should be email, and password. So okay, so let's now implement register. First, we need to add here a script and some data. Data will have user. Okay, we'll have user here as our data, and so ato ang bind ang mga fields nato dire para sa user nga object dito. So for this, kini si input nga ID name, tagaan na to ni siya og vmodel nga user.name. Yeah, kini si email. Let's copy this one. Copy. Paste here, we'll have user.email. Finally, have here user.password. And we'll just send this up. So, nakabayan na siya diha. Whatever we enter into those fields will be reflected into this data. And we are going to submit. We should make this into a submit button. So type equals submit. And so this one, we're going to add a at submit. And para dili siya mo submit according sa iyang pamaagi, we'll also do that prevent. And instead of doing what it usually does as a form to submit, kini na lang atong buhaton sa on submit niya function. We'll also add that function here under methods on submit. Of course, this is an async. Ay mo send man ta og API. So, what should we do? We are going to call on this dot axios dot post. Okay, post man tong ato ang register nga API. What shall we post? It's going to be we'll have http://localhost:8000/API/register. And then we're going to pass in this dot user. Mo atong i-send. And then we'll have response. And instead of response, igurata mo alert. If response.status is equal to so to yung i-return yung status kung mo register ka 202. So 202 kung 202 gani successful register ta, we'll just di ba na may message to siya, may message nga registration success, so we'll just display it ato lang alert, say alert rest.data message. So let's try this out. And of course, kung mahuman na dito, datong i-clear ang ito ang form. So ito ba clear sa form? Igora na ito ingog user of this, that user is equal to a blank object. E nakabind man to siya dito sa itong form. So kung blank object nga, mawa na sa itong sulod sa mga form. Basically. Alright, so let's try. Let's add Jose. Jose at email.com and password 123. Login na yung hapon nakabuta. So it says registration success. Ito sa ilisang login dahil. But let's check in our database og nasulod ba siya dito. So users, let's browse again, and yeah, our registration page is successful. COVID sad ko dre. Right? sunod ng button is atong login atong implement, but we will do that next meeting na kaya hindi kayo mo daghan og buhaton. So at this point, I will just give you instruction to finish up your back end and then also do this front end, at least the front end nga mga scaffolds, pages niya, register, og login, and since nahuman po na to og implement ng register, pag-implement po mo diha og registration. So muna siya button niya. And then tomorrow, we are going to implement the login. And you will really like what next auth can give you in terms of authentication in a next application. All right, so do you have any question, guys? Okay na ba may question? So if you have no more question, that will be all for today. Mubalik taon niya later on sa 10:30 sa capstone, kaya mag-reschedule ta sa ato ang group sessions. Okay, see you later at 10:30, the same link lang gyapon. Please execute leave drill. Bye-bye everyone.